Ladies and gentlemen. It's really beginning now, right? Ladies and gentlemen. Our aim at the Dominica Business Forum is to start at 7 o'clock, London time. But we are expecting government officials, and I believe they're on their way. I'm going to ask you 5 minutes to allow them to appear. You heard the national anthem at 7, so that was an indication that we were serious about time. We're still serious about that, but I think it's only fair that we allow them 5 minutes. I'm not in that capacity. So we're going to allow them 5 more minutes. And yeah. With this one, if I see how this
whistling the breeze, and lovely flowers and trees smiling with song. Young girls more gaily dressed, mama firefights on the vest. We all sing goodbye to you, bending up in you. Love me, love me, go under the water. You'll find the rivers flow everywhere you go. Lovely Dominica, land where the people smile. Won't you come and stay a while in beautiful Dominica?
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. I am Darrell Bob, President of the Dominica Business Forum, Inc. Allow me to recognize the presence of, I'm not even saying the Prime Minister, but he's not here yet, and his cabinet members. So, first and foremost, I'll say a special welcome to Mr. Sherman Boston, the independent candidate, Mr. Danny Lugay of the United Workers' Party, Ms. Ashma McDougall of the Dominica Labour Party, moderators, Mr. Matthias Peltier and Mrs. Kaywana Fontaine-Wilson, members of the media and the constituents here with us tonight. The Dominica Business Forum Inc. aims to foster change in the manner in which we have been known to conduct or build up towards elections in Dominica. And at least to introduce an important element that is very necessary, and that is bridging the gap between the electorate and the candidate. We are very encouraged that from the very moment of the announcement of our honest intentions, the candidates rose to the occasion and embraced it. A clear indication that someone needed to make the first move. The DBF Inc. prides itself on being the only organization in Dominica to have taken a list of bold initiatives such as liaising between government, opposition, and Sir Dennis Byron during his tenure as consultant for drafting the proposal to government for electoral reform. Our most recent initiative was a consultation between government and opposition at the Public Service Union building in the city. There is reason to be proud of the DBF's efforts, those initiatives having experienced excellent outcomes. Today, we welcome everyone present to take full advantage of this opportunity to interact with your candidates. We urge you to recognize the rules and to ensure that you are clear and that your interactions are pertinent and most of all, respectful. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my team at the Dominica Business Forum, welcome. At this point, I will introduce to you our moderators, Mr. Matthias Peltier and Mrs. Kaywana Fontaine-Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, Kaywana Fontaine-Wilson is an experienced broadcast journalist and media professional with 20 years of experience in radio broadcasting and public communication. Kaywana currently serves as the head of the language department at the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation, DBS Radio, where she's also the host of the station's long-running daily Creole program, Esperias Creole. Throughout her career, Kaywana has built a reputation for professionalism, credibility, and balanced broadcasting. She has presented news and current affairs, hosted numerous live broadcasts and outside broadcasts, hosted national events, and conducted interviews on a wide range of issues affecting the Dominican public. Beyond traditional broadcasting, Kaywana is also a content creator and communications professional with a passion for language, culture, and meaningful public engagement. Kaywana Fontaine-Wilson. Those who've never seen her before, my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matthias, affectionately known as Matt Peltier Jr., is a veteran broadcast journalist whose journalism career spans over 30 years. He is currently the host of the popular Hot Seat in the morning on Q95 and the Talk on the Block in the afternoon, known as Pillar in Dominican journalism. I would say that was supposed to be written that he's known as a pillar in Dominican journalism and has built a career for fierce advocacy and transparency. He has done extensive humanitarian work, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for the sick and other social causes. Peltier's contribution to the nation has been recognized by various organizations locally and regionally. A former correspondent for the BBC Caribbean Report, Voice of the America, and the Caribbean News Agency. He was trained professionally at the Northeast Broadcasting School in Boston, USA, in radio and television broadcasting. He's also received training at Reuters in the United Kingdom in environmental reporting and the cable news network, CNN. Wow. In international reporting. A former president of the now defunct the Media Workers of Dominica. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matthias. Matt. Ladies and gentlemen, having done so, and even trying to wait for our other guests, we would like you to stand again for a word in prayer. I would like to welcome to the podium Father Karam to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray together Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Let us pray. Almighty God and Creator of the universe, we praise you for the wonder of all your creation, for the gift of salvation won for us by Jesus Christ, and for the Holy Spirit who unites, builds up our community, and sanctifies us. We ask as we gather this evening your special anointing upon every person gathered here tonight. Grant us attentive hearts to listen to one another with patience and guide our words into respectful dialogue. In particular, Lord God, uphold Miss Ashma McDougall, Mr. Danny Lugay, Mr. Sherman Boston, with your grace and protect them from all harm and danger. Enable them to maintain strong Christian principles during this campaign. Help them and all politicians to understand the true meaning of leadership. Remind us, O God, of the words of your Son Jesus to James and John, that whoever wishes to be great must be servant of all. Teach us also the words of Jesus to Pontius Pilate, that all earthly power comes only from above and must be used for the upliftment of others. Father, help all endeavoring for political leadership to seek wisdom instead of power, justice instead of self-interest, unity, peace, and the common good instead of division, quarreling, and selfishness. We ask this in the name of Christ, the Good Shepherd, who leads us to eternal pastures, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Father Karam, for a very inspiring prayer. I would like at this point to ask the candidates to approach the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Ashma McDougall, Mr. Danny Lugay, and Mr. Sherman Boston.
Thank you. Thank you, Daryl. Bob. Good evening, everyone. As Bob has already introduced me and my colleague here as moderators for this evening's event, the first ever public discussion amongst our candidates for the Roseau North by-election. Good evening to you, Matt Peltier. Sakafet, how are you doing?
Let me use your phone, your microphone. Good night, everybody. It's good to be here, and I'm hoping that we, of course, can moderate in a very balanced manner this evening. And of course, we ask questions every day. So your turn tonight to ask all the questions you need to ask through us. And this time I'm gonna allow for that Kaywana, I was about to say for Dinah, to give envelopes to our various candidates here.
Yes.
And then we'll decide who's going to have the first 7 minutes.
The envelopes don't have any money in it. They are sealed, and they have in them the positions of the presentation, opening presentation, and the closing presentation. So we are going to place the envelopes here on the table, 3 of them. And in this order, Mr. Danny Lugay, we welcome you to pick an envelope. Okay. So they are sealed. So he's now going to open and let us know what number he will be presenting this evening.
Presentation number 2 and closing remarks number 3.
Give it up for Mr. Lugay. He will be presenting in the number 2 position. I'll go over to Ms. McDougall. It's well sealed.
Presentation number 1 and closing remarks number 2.
Give it up for Ms. McDougall. Excuse me?
Presentation number 3.
Well, yes, but just for transparency's sake, we allow you to open and present and announce what number you have.
Okay, presentation number 3, closing remarks number 1.
Great, give it up for Mr. Boston. Excuse me. So here you have it. First presentation is Miss McDougall. Should she be sitting in the middle? No? Where do you think she should be sitting? Listen. Okay, you know what? You guys have the say today. But tonight, what's up? The podium?
The podium, she's going to speak at the podium.
You want to use the podium? Okay, it's fine. That's very, very free, very relaxed setting here, so you're free to use the podium. So?
And she'll be speaking for 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Okay.
Each candidate will be speaking for 7 minutes. Ms. McDougall?
Please join me at the podium. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, the rules are supposed to be presented before, and I shall just do the honors. So, yes, so we have a list of rules to ensure that this event goes through smoothly. Everybody follows the rules. And based on the rules from the Dominica Business Forum, it reads as follows. The event is a civilized public discussion among candidates who seek to represent the people of the Roseau North constituency. The event is not a debate. Sotansa, c'est pas un débat, it's not a banter, it's a discussion. The moderators, Matt and I, will be on stage, as you can see, with the candidates and will chair the meeting impartially. Candidates will draw numbers, well, they have done that. Each candidate will have 7 minutes for the opening presentation. And I'm hoping that's very clear. A television screen will be available, well, yes, many screens available on stage, so that the candidates, television screen will be available for media projection of the presentations if necessary. After each candidate presents, the moderators may ask one follow-up question. So we may ask a few questions as well, Mr. Peltier. The audience members wishing to ask questions will be selected by us, the moderators, and the questions shall be directed alternately to the candidates. All candidates shall be allocated equal number of questions. So equal amount of questions for each candidate. The audience may direct a question to a specific candidate or may request a response from each candidate. Questions must not exceed 1 minute and must be directed to a specific candidate through the moderators. So please, you have a time limit on your questions. No blah blah day, and you like to sometimes exceed time, but today we are very serious about time. All questions and comments should be conveyed through the moderators. There shall be no arguments between candidates to avoid confrontation. I know you guys are very close to each other, so there should be no arguments amongst you all. It's not a debate. The candidate's response to questions shall not exceed 3 minutes. Personal attacks or character assassination of any participants will not be tolerated. Applause should be limited to the introduction of participants at the beginning of the event and the close of the event. Participants must not be interrupted by the audience. Any audience members who violate the event rules must be asked to leave the hall. I was told there were police officers here. Where are they? I haven't seen the police officers. They're outside? Okay. Let's hope we don't have to use police officers tonight.
Maybe they're undercover.
And lastly, the duration of the activity shall not exceed 2 hours. Matt, let's go.
Yes.
Are we ready for discussion?
Whose time? I think we'll have a stopwatch on that.
Mr. Mackenzie and Bob shall be doing the timing. At the end of all the presentations.
Thank you.
So we now call on our first presenter, Ashma McDougall, representing the Dominica Labour Party. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Good evening to members of the Dominica Labour Party, the United Workers' Party, fellow candidates, distinguished members of the audience, and everyone joining us by radio, television, and virtual airways. It's a privilege to be here this evening to share my futuristic vision for Roseau. If you haven't met me before, my name is Ashma McDougall. I am an economist, an educator, a youth advocate, business consultant, entrepreneur, and above all, I am someone who believes that progress begins with presence. And long before the accolades, I was just a little girl learning life's lessons from my family. My grandparents and my parents were ordinary people who lived quite extraordinary lives with sacrifice, through hard work, and through service. And so by the age of 9, I found myself doing pedicures in my grandmother's salon and serving even the Prime Minister at World of Food. And in hindsight, this was the very first business class that I would have been exposed to, not those at the convent high school or at university. And this is where I learned accountability, I learned responsibility, and I learned that excellence is not just a habit. That habit and those values have come to shape every chapter of my life and every role that I served in. And so people ask, why politics? Politics comes quite natural because I have meant to put people at the center of my life. And there comes a time in life when analyzing problems is not enough. Real change happens when ideas become action, when policies become opportunities, and when leadership becomes service. And that is why I chose to serve with the Dominica Labour Party. I believe I can make the greatest contribution by working from within the government and building on the country's current progress, bringing fresh ideas, a different lens, youthful lens, community-driven solutions, and a relentless commitment to delivery. Tonight is not simply about choosing a candidate. Tonight is about choosing the kind of future that we want for Roseau. And too often we present communities with solutions before we ourselves try to understand them. And so that is why over the past several weeks, I chose a different approach. I chose to listen. And, many of you welcomed me into your homes, walked the halls of your businesses, and sat with fisherfolk along the Roseau coastline to develop our plan, to develop a community-led development plan that was informed by your voices of Roseau. Across every community, four priorities reverberated. And this is the foundation upon which I will deliver my commitment to improve your lives in Roseau. I have discussed these priorities with the senior leadership of the Dominica Labour Party, and the Prime Minister is committed to fully engaging on the issues and proposals being advanced for Roseau. So first, housing. A home is more than just concrete and steel. A home provides security, dignity, and it's a transferable asset across the family. We must expand access to safe housing and ensure that development includes drainage and roads and proper lighting. And while the $1 per square foot legislature has afforded opportunity to land ownership, we recognize that measures are coming to drive the same affordability to home ownership. Second, we must re-engineer the entrepreneurial ecosystem that fuels business growth. 2 weeks ago, we met with over 100 small businesses in the Roseau constituency. And through that, we identified over 250 small businesses across 20 sectors in Roseau. That is not a shortage of ambition. It is an economic base waiting to be energized and to be strengthened. Too many good businesses remain trapped at survival level, and we recognize that access to financing remains a challenge. However, access to financing cannot fix it alone. I will champion a pathway from startup through market readiness, and where possible, export. Third, employment. Residents have been clear. Temporary income can provide relief, but sustainable work is what fuels independence. And so the employment solution is twofold. First, developing pathways for employment through the digital economy and training capacity to increase employability among our youth. With the Dominica Labour Party's infrastructural investment development nexus on the horizon, we must connect training to real opportunities in construction and hospitality and across the service sector. We have already realized the success of Work Online Dominica, and this initiative can connect the single mother in Stock Farm, Yampis, Tarishpit, the young man in Fonkole, and other hamlets with credible remote opportunities that offer lucrative income without abandoning home. My time on the ground has revealed that this priority, constituency transformation, has revealed to be a priority, to be centered across the entire constituency. Community transformation remains at the epicenter, and the work has already begun with the gutter Rabin cleanup campaign and the collaboration with the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation and the Roseau City Council, the installation of lighting at the Fonkole basketball courts, the rehabilitation of the Stock Farm playground, and importantly, the rehabilitation of the Stock Farm netball complex. Indulge with me for a moment. Indulge with me here for a moment and place your 3D imaginary glasses and allow me to show you untapped potential. I'm already seeing it. Okay. So imagine visitors gathering on a beautifully designed hillside lookout. I mean, I know you can see it right now, but put on your 3D imaginary glasses and imagine it with me. I recognize that Fonkole has some of the most beautiful views. And I believe that prime real estate in Fonkole has the potential waiting to be untapped or unlocked. In the interest of time, we know that, thank you very much. In the interest of time, we know that no two communities are the same. And while I have presented the economic strategies, we recognize that development has to be planned on a targeted community-specific solution approach rather than a one-size-fits-all. So in Fonkole, we've identified modernized fishing, in Goodwill and Pottersville, which is the commercial corridor from Roseau, Yampis, Parish Street and Gutter Village, employment, Peltier, water storage capacity, Stock Farm community development, and importantly, safety in St. Roma, Mont Daniel, and as well, St. Edmunds. So, one representative cannot do it alone though. But I can, and I will bring people together to get things done. That is the difference in leadership that I offer. And I have already begun that work by engaging our fisherfolk across the coastline, our improvement committees across the constituency, young professionals, entrepreneurs, sports enthusiasts, community leaders, and just people. The Roseau North that we are building cannot be created by the government alone. It will be built by a community united around a common purpose. A community that believes progress belongs to everyone and that everyone has a role to play in achieving it. And so if you believe that Roseau North deserves representation that listens before it speaks, plans before it promises, and delivers before it commits, then I humbly ask for your confidence, your partnership, and ultimately your vote. Together, we can build a Roseau North that every resident is proud to call home. And together, we will deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. We have allowed Ms. McDougall to go past 7 minutes because, of course, she had to do a bio before that, so we allowed it to go past 7 minutes. Thank you very much.
So in the interest of fairness, we shall afford the other candidates the same extra 5 minutes that we allowed Ms. McDougall to get.
2 minutes. So it's about 10 minutes.
Yes.
10 minutes altogether, okay? Mr. Danny Lugay, come up to the podium, please. Thank you.
My esteemed fellow candidates, organizers, the Dominica Business Forum, moderators, invited guests, Roseau constituents, the media houses at home and abroad joining us via social media, members of the United Workers' Party and Labour Party, Dominicans all, welcome to Roseau. We in Roseau mourn the loss of Otis Francis, a stevedore at the Woodbridge Bayport, and a gentle soul. We also mourn the loss of Mr. Curtis Gordon, a world-class renowned leather craftsman. Deepest sympathies to their families and the wider Roseau community. Let every word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. I now present to you what some may label my budget address for 2026-2027. And yes, I'm preparing to be back in Parliament. Oh yes, I am. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. For lack of vision, a people perish. Allow me to share my vision for the development of Roseau as documented in my 2026 manifesto, which you will be handed your personal copy tonight. 2 weeks ago, I gave my friend Ms. McDougall and Ambassador Kelvedaro a copy each of my manifesto. They were on the campaign trail on shoplifting goodwill. Ms. McDougall assured me that she would study it, and I'm sure she did. Just a secret, please don't tell Matt. I understand that all ambassadors were recalled home and on the ground in Roseau as we speak. The major challenge for Roseau is one of high unemployment, and that is among youth. Solutions proposed to establish a commercial hub from the public works property all the way to the DBMC building, which includes the Dexter warehouse and the home industries site. For 26 years, this government has been promising the Roseau vendors a vendors arcade. If they could not do it in 26 years, they cannot do it at all. For urgent address is the hazardous Fokole landfill, also known as Labas. This will be relocated out of the constituency to a more suitable location. The Labas has long outlived its usefulness and has now become a major health hazard with frequent uncontrolled fires, cancer-causing smoke, and toxic fumes. Another major health hazard in Roseau North is the collection and management of garbage. We see garbage pile up for weeks without collection, attracting flies, mosquitoes, and rats. Leptospirosis, chikungunya, dengue, and other vector-borne diseases are a real threat. We are better than this, and 45 to 50 years ago, we had a better garbage collection system. How do I know that? Yes, I was there. Anyway, anyone else was there? Dominica was cleaner back then. Healthcare, hospital services respect for indigenous health professionals, working equipment, adequate medical supplies and medicine are major concerns for all Dominicans. People are genuinely scared. One young lady I met on this very compound said to me on Monday, whose mom is hospitalized, that her family had to order anesthetics from the US for $29, but freight cost was US $120. That's because the hospital had none. For God's sake, anesthetics? She further set a challenge to one of my fellow candidates that if she can get medication for her mom, all 4 votes at her home is a guarantee. Who will get this family's vote? Your guess is as good as mine. Universal health care for every single Dominican is a solemn promise of our leader, Dr. Thompson Fontaine and Team Dominica. With Roseau North youth unemployment rate at near 40%, a brand new mall will create employment for hair braiders, manicurists, massage professionals, artisans, painters, small business owners, local pharmacy, chefs and restaurant owners, musicians, cultural festivals, Gota Jinping Band, Shirley and the Signal Band will play live music and earn a living from the tourist dollar. On Wednesday and Friday nights, the Tourist Reception Center will transform into a cultural melting pot of music, dance, and world-class dining, where patrons can expect an explosion of an all-seafood menu: lobster, kingfish, chateau water, dolphin, red snapper, just name it and you will get it. This tourist reception hub will be known as the seafood restaurant capital of the Caribbean. Fishermen of Folklore and Pottersville will be guaranteed sale of their fish. And let me make it abundantly clear that fishers of Roseau North deserve more than coolers and tables. The United Workers' Party will secure the high-paying markets of Guadeloupe and Martinique to sell freshly packaged fish. Value added, smoked and canned fish is the future of this industry. At the Tourist Reception Center, patrons will dine on the catch of the day, grilled fresh out of the sea. The atmosphere will be an exotic blend of Dominican culture, cuisine, and family entertainment in a world-class heritage site, designed and built with Dominican hands. And yes, I said built with Dominican hands. Did you know that the St. Alphonsus Catholic Church, just down the road, was built by a Dominican, Mr. Luke and Sons Construction Company? It is now considered a world-class construction. Is my time up? The microphone is off. Dominica, what's that? Did I? Where's the switch? I certainly didn't reach there, so something happened. A remote control. Please restore my time. So I was saying that the Catholic Church just down the road was built by a Dominican. So I'm saying Dominica for Dominicans first, while we welcome the world to our doorstep. Extension of the Woodbridge Bay Port all the way to the China Friendship Bridge. This is part of the medium to long-term plan. And the unfortunate accidental death of Otis Francis last week signals the need for serious safety training for our stevedores, longshoremen, and crane operators. These men put their lives at risk every day, and we must respect them and adequately compensate them. The sight of tourists walking through 40-foot containers, locals clearing barrels, risking their lives on the Woodbridge Bay Port calls for urgent action. A temporary solution may be to have tourists disembark to a dedicated low-traffic area of the port. For example, the area near the Police Marine Base, while more long-term solutions of an expanded port is built. On the northern side of the China Friendship Bridge, A promenade will be constructed much like the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard, with one significant difference of a modern cruise ship terminal which will accommodate 8 cruise ships all at once. Along the beach from Woodbridge Bay to the China-French Ship Bridge will be restaurants, entertainment centers, and cruise passenger amenities. This is my vision for Roseau. A review of the tax system in Dominica is long overdue. When a government takes 55 cents on every dollar earned by businesses, and in Roseau has the highest concentration of businesses on island, and they are feeling the squeeze. 35 cents on every dollar earned is paid in direct taxes by small to large businesses. 15 cents paid in VAT, that is already 50 cents, and 5 cents on the environmental levy, the WASCA service charge, and city council tax. That takes us to 55 cents on every dollar paid in taxes, while business owners are left with 45 cents. I guess my time is up. Okay, so what I will say to you, based on my plan, I'm asking for your vote. It's a vote that will create employment, the biggest problem in Roseau. I also mentioned the health sector, which is of interest to all Dominicans generally. Good night and God bless. Get your copy of my manifesto.
Thank you, Danny Lugay, the candidate for UWP. At this time, we would like to welcome the independent candidate for this evening, Mr. Sherman Boston. Make him feel welcome.
Yes, good evening, distinguished guests, members of Roseau, government officials, those here and those listening from home, Dominican public. And I mean, a good night. Nobody to acknowledge you. I will acknowledge you. Good evening to me and Lucy Bell, Matthew, and members of Roseau. Tonight, well, my name is Sherman Boston, and I'm sorry if I disappoint you because I saw some real outstanding presentation. Tonight, I don't come to compete with that. I can start there and tell you about how much things that need to be done in Roseau. I can tell you about the netball stadium, which I myself worked on in conception in the early 2000s. I can tell you about the highways they have built in Stock Family College, which I worked on, but lacking sidewalk for the college. I can talk to you about the landfill, which I've been advocating for over a year now, and some of our urban communities over 23 years. I can tell you about the pressures we're facing in Stock Farm, and I can go on and on and on in Yampis, in Gota, Tarish Beat, Fontaine-Wilson. I can tell you about the people that are living and they have to walk for distance to their homes, have to carry things, to have vehicle access, although the government has sold land for them and they have land titles, and no one is trying to give them vehicle access. They have eligible people are walking up and down from Poli, Yampis, Gota. So I can stand there and give you a whole list of things that needs to be done. But my priority tonight is to come and tell you what we need is unity. That's why I will always stand as an independent candidate, because if workers win, what happens to labor rights? The labor wins, what happens to workers? Every time is a tribal, political tribalism that happening, and nobody will say when we're going to stop. We need to stop, because at the end of the day, the problem we're facing right now in that unpredictable future, we need all hands on deck. We need to come together as a people and we need to build back our country to something we can be proud of. We all have children, and some of them have grandchildren. I have children, and the way we go in there, we will make it far because we see the future unpredictable. In a democracy, the only way you can know it is alive when you have a strong and thriving middle class. We have that disappeared too. Nobody was complaining. We listened to the AGM of our NCCU, National Credit Union, talking about delinquencies in loans. But yesterday, when we were seeing Dominicans sit down, not working, while government spending a lot of money in capital projects, nobody to come and shout it. Nobody to defending Dominicans to right to work, to be able to feed their family every time for years now. Mother's Day, Palric, then nobody can take any mother. Father's Day, same thing. Christmas. I don't understand it. And we just deal, we want to pull left, pull right, crucifix, all that, all well and good. But we're not educating our people for them to be able to sustain themselves. We build a dependency, and that will never, ever bring Dominica nowhere. So I can come here to you to tell you about a whole wide range of things that needs to be done. But one thing I can ensure you, that party politics, tribalism, doing a few things. We have leaders, people of the knowledge, able to contribute to building society, but because of the hatred that created by that party politics, that tribalism, they're choosing to refrain from the positions. Because as soon as you go workers, half of Dominica hate you. I once there was a Labour, right? Up to 2 years, I put it a Labour Party thing. They can't comprehend that, or they can say, well, it's a Labour right. It can make it, I'm a Dominican, and right now, I was about to stand up for Dominica. I engaged one of the ministers, talking to them about governance in their campaign in San Bolivar, talking about the national debt. Why the national debt? Why are you talking about it? How are we going to address the national debt? CBI looking like it's going make now. We have to resort to taxation. How are you going to tax the good people? I mean, let us get serious about our life. All the big buildings, the nice hospital, the big college, the deadly school, all that nice. But if you have a people, a thriving middle class that can pay taxes, that can take Dominica forward, we don't have nothing. And if we don't, the middle class fail, the country itself will fail. If we have a lot of intellectual people inside there, outside there, people in high financing, we have economists here, there, everywhere. High people, I don't know nobody, but I can guarantee you, the problem, I know it, I see it, I've been there. In Fokole, in Sokfam, in Yampis, in Tarishpit. Why we don't want people to be educated? Why we have to leave them their growth stunted to protect our position? Progress is when the next generation come and overtake you and do better than you. But all of us look into the stunned people, keep their growth stagnant, and then we think, give me a growth. And when you see we, as parents of our party, we accept that, we endorse that for other people during, remember, we endorse it for our children and our grandchildren suffer and their children suffer. So we can come down for our lovely presentation. And Mr. Lugay, I applaud you for your contribution. Ms. McDougall, education, everything, you're young. But right now, we have a generation there that was a sideline. We're seeing it, and parents are applauding it. Right now, we have 20 years, 18 years people in parliament. What happened to our generation? I'm almost 50. What happened to my chance to contribute to building Dominica and all the others of our generation? Why we agree to sidetrack them? Why you have to push them aside and they don't have nothing to contribute? Because if you look at it today, all the business you're talking about there is from that generation. If you look at the spinning wheel, your mechanics, your masons, your fishermen, your honey farmers, it's from our generation. We are the ones spinning the wheel, but we're trying to keep us out of leadership position, and that is bad. And we're doing it there in troves. Okay? Because either you workers or you labor. But today I come to create a safe space for someone that wants to lead, have the ability to contribute, but don't want to go in the hatred politics. So we need to spread that there. We need Dominica to come as Dominicans. We're going to face our unpredictable future. I don't know how much of us looking at the TV, looking at the radio. We don't listen to the CBI. That's an important scenario. But there are people in money are looking to take over everything. Or fresh water. I didn't even listen to them. They come in after it. They done the the World Economic Forum. They already putting together a committee to manage the fresh water. That is what we have. We're not looking to come together and defend our water. The people, they will just come in and they just take it. Okay? When the airport arrive, direct access to Dominica, people come with a briefcase of money. We're going to drive the price of everything in Dominica up. What provisions are we taking for local people so they'll be able to survive in that future? What the provisions are we making for our children so they'll be able to buy land? Because the price of land is already unreachable. When the airport opens, it's going to reach a height where we can't afford it. What provisions are we making? Nobody is talking about suspending the alien landholders tax. Because foreigners can just come there and just buy acres of land. They have the money to do it. What are we protecting for our children? I mean, let's get serious about our life. Let's get serious about what that's going on. Okay? I mean, I can go on and on, I have a lot of stuff to say. But today there, I'll officially launch my campaign. I doubt if I finance to launch campaign, but business forum. I'll officially launch my campaign as an independent candidate. And people that know they want to do what they can do with their community, with their country to further. They want to contribute to the building of Dominica, but they don't want to engage in that party politics, tribalism, and hatred. We're going to open a door for you to come and contribute without that hatred. We're going to bring Dominicans together as one people. Too much politics, too much tribalism, too much hatred. That will be a thing. 46 years of independence, 48, correct me if I'm wrong. And what we have to show for it, let us be serious. What we really have to show for it, our constitution, look at it. That is my presentation. The constitution designed for our slave colonial masters. Right now, all we're able to achieve is local colonial masters because they're looking for all the benefits of the constitution. They weaponize it against the citizens, and we're not going nowhere with that. We're keeping our children and them in a nutshell with nothing. So I come to represent unity, development. Because all the things we talk about there, I might be medical capacity. I've done, I can go on and on and on. You know. I clean up water already, clean tariffs with my truck, you know, all over. I work on roads, I build houses. I just completed 34 houses for the HRP on that minimum budget, $125,000 and $40,000. Okay? We don't even know money. People believe like I did 34 houses with less than 5 million. Why you make a big money? That's how we have our children. That's how we have our people. Thank you. Don't forget again. Okay? So my name is Sherman Boston. I don't want to split votes, to slide votes, only thing on Facebook. I'll only vote for us to come together and have to build Roseau enough to start, and then we're going forward to build Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you. Independence candidates, Sherman Boston. That's what you call reading the room. So at this point, we want to say thank you to all our candidates who have presented to us here this evening. Mr. Peltier, we have come to the point where we are going to engage you, the audience. So you will present your questions to your desired candidates. You have 1 minute to do that. Please respect the time and keep your questions clear, short, and to the point. Thank you.
And it has to be 1 minute. We give the candidates 3 minutes to answer.
So we have a roaming microphone. Mr. Daryl Bob will be doing the honors. So Daryl, have you identified the first? Okay, so by a show of hands, we will, yes, so first
Mr. Ian Jackson.
Question will come from, please introduce yourself, sir, if you don't mind. Is his microphone on?
Okay, my name is Ian Jackson. Just want to congratulate all three candidates. They have done an excellent job and opened my mind to a lot of things too. But I just want to pose a question very quickly, as things are spiraling from my mind. The biggest open space in Roseau North area is the Public Works Department area, and it is non-productive, as we all know. Nothing is not really happening there. It is kind of surprising, Ms. McDougall, that you never mentioned anything about that area, and do you have any plans for utilizing that area, that space? And secondly, do you have any, can you debunk the information that I have and have come across to me that people are actually now being given monies to vote for the Dominica Labour Party?
Okay, so the first question is to Ms. McDougall. I guess you can use this microphone.
Thank you very much for that, because it's very. Thank you. Can I remain seated? Okay. Thank you for that question, Mr. Jackson. And I want to impress that I do recognize and observe that that space it poses particular promise. As you are aware, the government has already intended on developing the Woodbridge coastline for the cruise ship port. And so this would be a complementary space to that. And so I know that it was not presented in my plan, but I would refer that you listen to the budget next week, and perhaps those plans may be revealed from there. As it relates to the second question that you would have asked, at no time have I distributed money to anyone to vote. Personally, actually, I've actually been sharing with individuals that transactional voting is not something that I myself would actually promote. I believe that individuals should exercise their right to vote, and that if there's a transaction that is, somewhat associated with voting, then ideally for me, that is not something that I would be promoting. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. The next question at the front there. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Edgar Hunter, and I am a voter in the Roseau constituency, and my question is directed at two-time Parliament Rep of Roseau, Danny Lugay. First, let me compliment all three of you for your opening presentation. But Mr. Lugay, you presented a master plan for the coastline, including public works. My question is, the country is struggling to get aid from overseas. We know it's very difficult. We know the situation of the world presently. Where are you going to get all that money to carry out such a plan? As remember, you coming in just as in a by-election as an opposition. You will be an opposition parliamentarian. I just want to ask you that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunter. I would expect a question like that to come from a lesser person. Well, he's a... Okay, well, I take that back. But what I'm saying, I know Edgar Hunter, I take that back. I apologize for that. But what I'm thinking, at your level, you must understand where monies come from. It comes from taxes, it comes from joint ventures, it comes from development partners. This current government has arrangements with the People's Republic of China. What I'm saying, I think a lot of the development we see, I'm not satisfied that enough of the stake is Dominican. For example, we have hotels built in Dominica from the sale of Dominican passports, and not a single share of that hotel is owned by Dominica. So I'm saying that resources, if it's used properly, you will get the funds. And I'm saying also that when you sit down, for example, the Kuwaitis, they set aside some money for the development of Roseau rehabilitation. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm saying funds like that, if it is used and directed properly, we can do those projects. Some of the project is short-term, some of the project is long-term. There are things we can do immediately, some will take a longer period of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just for reminder purposes, let's just keep it very civil and respectful, please, to both audience and candidates. Thank you. We have our next. Okay. So.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Mika Daru-Laville, and my question is posed to you, Mr. Lugay, and good evening to everyone on the panel. So my question to you is that you boycotted the 2022 election on the issue of electoral reform, and you have been definitely silent for the last 4.5 years. Why are you now running, seeing that these electoral issues that were presented 4.5 years ago still exist? Thank you.
So the question is posed to Mr. Danny Lugay.
Okay. On the question of why we've had legislation passed in the parliament on electoral reform, it is not the full package of what we as a party are asking for, but it is some movement. On March 19th, I was one of those in my song, The Hailer, asking for certain additional things in the legislation. We didn't get it, but there was some movement, and we cannot forever use the same strategy. We have to move forward, and we have decided as a party to take part in the by-election.
Thank you. Mr. Lugay?
Thank you very much. Next question then, to the front. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening to all. My name is...
No, the question was just to you, Mr. Lugay.
Feel free to, you can ask a question to any candidates, yes.
And just to be clear, those asking the questions, please be clear about who you are directing the question to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is James Gregoire, land surveyor, licensed land surveyor, land management. That's my specialty. To all the candidates, blessed evening to you all. I listened to the three candidates and their plans. Miss McDougall, her number one priority was housing. Mr. Boston spoke about it in his fourth point. I realized my friend, Mr. Lugay, did not talk about housing as one of his priorities in Roseau. What I would like to say, housing remains a critical issue within the constituency. While the government's initiative to regularize land ownership at $1 per square foot is commendable, many residents still cannot afford to build on the land they own now. I'm asking all three candidates, what practical measures would be implemented to help these families access affordable housing and move from land ownership to home ownership? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the question is to all three candidates. Who would like to answer first?
Okay, I'll take a first shot at it. Housing. Yes, housing is important. If you go to the communities of Kota Village, Fokole, Yampis, you'll see a lot of homes built there. Back in the 90s and 80s, it was like plywood houses. These people build their homes block by block, floor by floor, with their own resources. It was done in the past. So yes, housing is important, but people have to be given the opportunity to build their own homes when employment is created. So that is why I focus on employment. We cannot put the cart before the horse. Yes, the current government focus on housing. That is commendable. But I'm saying the priority should be creating employment where people can earn a decent living. And that is why I spoke about the hub from public works all the way to DBMC, where spaces will be created that people can they can earn their own dollar. They wouldn't have to depend on a government handout. Look at the housing program. People still can't even put stuff in their refrigerator. So we must put the cat behind the horse.
Thank you, Mr. Lugay. Ashma, the next to answer.
Thank you. I think that question is quite valid. Your question was centric to measures to move from land ownership to home ownership, which is, I mean, you copied that from my presentation, clearly. We must obviously commend the government for its aggressive contribution to the housing revolution. And additionally, with the $1 per square foot legislation, it has definitely afforded an opportunity for persons in the Roseau North constituency to own land. And as I said before, home ownership is where we obviously want to ensure that there are greater pathways for access to many individuals within Yampis and Tarish Peat and Gutter Village, and even in the Ravin areas. And so some practical measures we obviously want to ensure we look at are coupled to tax reform. I mean, that I will not indulge in tonight because, again, I don't want to share any of what the government will be presenting next week at the upcoming budget. However, additional measures that will complement moving from land ownership to home ownership is, as Mr. Lugay said, access to employment. Through the twofold model that I looked at, or that I presented, you would have recognized that there was one which was actually approaching individuals who are skilled, and there's another which is approaching increasing employability among our individuals. And in many conversations with human resource managers within the constituency, that is one of the issues we have to tackle. Unemployment is not just a problem. It's also looking at are individuals employable? And so we have to ensure that there are some training gaps that we can potentially provide resources into to ensure that our individuals are ready for work, in addition to creating employment through the digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McDougall, Sherman Boston.
Well, Mr. Gregoire, that is a very important question, but important question, and I would like to take my time to address it, but I'd like to agree with Mr. Lugay. I didn't go allowed to do that. Mr. Lugay, you cannot jump the gun. You have to be employed. But also, we have to offer the financial literacy so people can, when they're employed, they can approach the financial institution and they know how to go and to get their own money so they can build their houses. Okay? Another thing we have to do, like especially in the Yampis, Fonkole, and Gota village, we have to make road accessible for the lands we're talking about. Because the way the people are living right now, just to buy, to bring water to their land, they have to spend so much money. I'm telling you because I on the ground, you know, I live in there, I work, I build houses inside of water. Big contractors see this job and they say, no, they can't do it. For the people to bring water to their land, it's 200, 300 foot of pipe alone they already do have. So we have to look to making the land motorable so they can access their land and they can go with the financial literacy, with the economics in the area, so they can learn how to access the funds. We cannot just keep on building a dependency society. We have to allow people the ability to grow. Okay, so as well as Ms. McDougall is talking about, we have to commend the government with what they have already done. We cannot continue to do it like that. We have to empower people. People have to empower themselves and to chart their way forward. If we continue to build a dependent society, where are we going to be in 10, 15 years? Look at what already happened. People have lost the will to work. People have lost the urge to go out there and to cater for themselves. That dependency thing needs to stop. We need to come together, labor rights, workers' rights, Dominican people. We need to stop that dependency. That's not going to bring us nowhere. Sorry, quite aggressive. I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about things I know, I see or believe in, and we cannot continue that way.
Thank you, Mr. Boston.
Thank you.
We go back to the audience.
Oh, here's a roving mic.
It's right there.
Okay. Introduce yourself, please. Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening to the head table. I am Carly Thomas, and I'm a voter at the Roseau constituency. My question is to you, Mr. Danny Lugay. As a returning Dominican myself, the leader of the UWP has openly discussed the strategy which includes returning Dominicans to the fields and factories as part of his quest to dismantle the CBI program. Does this proposed development financing extend to Roseau North constituency, Mr. Danny Lugay? Thank you.
Okay, you mentioned that my political leader, he spoke about dismantling the CBI program. I don't think so. The CBI program is being naturally dismantled because of the actions of this current government. And the second part of the question I didn't quite catch about funding. If there's going to be financing, it should be for all constituencies on island. We cannot have a program discriminating one constituency against the other. So if there's a proposal for financing, it should be for all constituencies.
Can you deepen the microphone, Mr. Bob, so we can hear clearly what she's asking or follow-up questions to Mr. Lugay? Thank you.
Mr. Lugay, I'm just saying we are here tonight because all three of you here are candidates for the Roseau North by-election, upcoming by-election. So my question is focusing on Roseau North constituency. That's it.
Yeah. Well, in my presentation, that's what I focus on Roseau North, showing all the areas where we'll have tourist reception hub from the public works area all the way to DBMC, which will create employment for young people and other people in their various fields. So people will be earning their own money. Was that? But that's Roseau North I'm speaking about.
Okay, so we welcome another question.
Please, yes. Introduce yourself again, please.
Yes, good night to everybody here. My name is Franklin Germain, Roseau North. I see three candidates there. One, Mr. Lugay, a question to you, because you was a former parliamentarian on 2 terms in cabinet. A question, I heard the three candidates there, and they talk about their development, but I'm interested in education and sports. Now, during your tenure, a question to you, whether you have sponsored any school child during your tenure, and also have you ever sponsored any sports, domino, cricket, or any other thing during the time you was a parliamentarian? Thank you very much.
You made a comment there. You said he was part of cabinet. He was never part of cabinet.
He parliamentary representative.
Thank you.
Parliamentary representative of the Roseau North on twice, 2019 and also 2014.
Okay, my answer to your question as to whether I've sponsored, yes, I've sponsored, and probably Miss McDougall would know that I've sponsored footballs and trophies to the State College and several other communities, including Tarish, when they have their football leagues. Even at my home right now, I have footballs and trophies to be given out. So that is something I do all the while. For the ladies group, the ladies team on Lindo Park, I'm donated several football boots. So that's something I do all the while and have been doing for many years.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, so.
Yes?
Right, my name is Bernard Sanderson. I want to quickly quote a verse of scripture. This verse states, "Stand firm for justice, witnesses for the Almighty, even if it is against yourselves or against your parents and relatives." This is a command from the Almighty, and it's our responsibility to obey. Now, since 2004, the Labour Party government has seriously mismanaged the finances and resources of this country. And since 2004, the Labour Party government has been guilty of promoting corruption and injustice in the land.
Sir, I'm sorry.
It's part of my question. Let me finish
I was
it.
about to ask.
Let me finish my question. Okay?
Go ahead.
Let me ask my question.
Yes, go ahead.
Don't interrupt me. I'm going to start the question again. All right. I'm going to ask my question. No, I'll start the question again. 1 minute, I'm going to start now.
Just give him his minute, please.
Give me a minute. I was saying since 2004, the Labour Party government has seriously mismanaged the finances and resources of this country. And since 2004, the Labour Party government has been guilty of promoting corruption and injustice in the country. As a result, poverty has increased tremendously. There's a high rate of unemployment and underemployment, especially among young people, and there has been a serious decline in the quality of healthcare. I want Ms. McDougall to explain to us, why have you chosen to align yourself with political leaders who are known to be highly incompetent and who are also known to be guilty of promoting corruption and injustice in the country. That's it.
Question to Ms. Mabu.
Okay, Mr. Sanderson, thank you for your question, although the way you may have prefaced your question was a little bit worrisome. And this question is similar, I guess, to a question that people would keep asking as it relates to why, even though I myself was highly critical of the government, I decided to become part of the Labour Party. And I don't want us to misunderstand, but my own criticism and support now are not mutually exclusive. In that, I believe that it is important that fresh ideas, and additionally, that opinionated individuals can contribute to delivering results within the Labour Party, regardless of the views that you yourself may have had. Now, at the same time, I believe that my candidacy with the Labour Party is contributing to a different platform of ideas, a different platform of development, a new development nexus, and I have no reservations for my own decision to join the Labour Party at this time. If anything, I believe I can introduce innovative ways of thinking, and I think I will definitely remain true to my independence of thinking as well, and contribute significantly to the development of Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. We get back to the audience.
I'm a voter in the Roseau constituency, and my name is Clyde Gregoire. And my question is to Ms. McDougall. You presented a glossy presentation, and we have seen that in Roseau Central, where the Rep from Roseau Central presented a glossy presentation to change Roseau. Then one day she came and she said, oh, she prayed and she got the money. And then the Prime Minister came and said, there's no money. I want to know what is your lead on in that? What is your path in that? And because you see, this constituency here rose enough, the people are educated. Some of us are poor, but we are educated and we're not stupid. We did not eat our school fees. You understand that? Now, also too as well, and another part, continuing my question. You mentioned that training of people. Roseau have a lot of people who are trained and qualified, but there is no work. You know, and we cannot avoid that, because if you don't have work, you cannot achieve anything. The economy is tight, Dominica is hard. As a matter of fact, in my business, I tried to do some business here locally in Dominica. And when I finally got a client in Dominica, the client said to me, I can only bring you fee, dashing, and so on. They cannot pay you to do business with you. So these are, we need to know from you if that is just to get into office through deception. Thank you.
All right, please limit your question to 1 minute. 1 minute. And that question is to Ms. McDougall. That's as it relates to.
Okay, thank you very much. And to the first part of your question, I cannot speak to any other candidates and their plans. I can speak to the plans of the Roseau North, which I have presented this evening. It's important to note as well that, as I mentioned, the work has already begun. And so thank you for your commendations on the glossy presentation, but it's not just words. Much of the work has already begun. We have started installation of lights at the Fonkole basketball court. We have started the rehabilitation at the Stock Farm playground and the Stock Farm netball complex. We have also started a massive cleanup campaign project with the gutter, tarish pit, and improvement committees, as we recognize that this is a very critical challenge within the constituency. We have also provided cold storage units to the fisher folk in Fonkole. And so clearly, this is not just some motive of deception to get into office. We recognize that there's work to be done. And like I've said, we've already started doing it. On the other note, as it relates to unemployment, and I want to be very frank on this. I come from academia, and having interacted with students and even so too people, and this is a very blanket analogy. It's not just something that is indicative of what's happening in Roseau North. Many of our youth, we recognize there is a gap. And this gap, it's not faulted by education. It's beyond that. There is a gap that exists within the labor market, and many of our young people are not employable, right? Many of the young people do not have the work ethic that perhaps I, you, and even my grandparents had, right? And so there needs to be quick address to solving that issue. And as I said, for skilled individuals within the Roseau North constituency, the second initiative is ensuring that we can build on the Work Online Dominica pilot initiative, which was very successful nationally, and create a pilot project within the Roseau North constituency so that it could provide opportunities for locals to earn international, I would say very competitive salaries. And so this project is something that I have already presented to the Prime Minister, and we seek to endeavor funding for this particular project to ensure that we can address the unemployment concern. So I hope that answers your two-part question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And please, when you answer questions, credit directed to the Roseau North constituency. She can answer for other candidates. So please try to be specific in terms of the Roseau North constituency.
Thank you.
That's what we're addressing tonight. Thank you.
Peltier, the name is Hartley Adams, better known as the Brain.
Welcome.
Thank you. I must say, I thought I was coming to hear questions, but I was hearing comments. So I go straight into my question to Mr. Danny Lugay. Based on your plans, I heard your plans, both on radio, articulating about the Fonkole area in terms of the public works. Based on those plans, have you identified those resources, both financial and human resource, to execute that effective plan that you have proposed?
So can you speak up?
Based on your plan that you have articulated over the couple of weeks, have you identified those resources to execute that plan that you have proposed? Thank you very much. To Mr. Lugay, Danny Lugay.
There was a similar type question where I indicated that plans are in phases. There are certain things that can be done right away. There are certain plans that can be implemented medium to long term. There are certain funding that can be done through development partners where the government of the day will ensure that the interests of the locals are respected and defended. Meaning that when we have large projects, you have workers from out of Dominica, but a certain percentage must be done by Dominica. So clearly, for any government, there's different sources for funding of projects. You have taxes, you have development partners, you have loan, you have grant, you have the QAT fund, for example. So there's several areas you could get funding.
Thank you, Mr. Lugay.
Question?
Good evening. My name is Alvin August
My question is directed to Mr. Lugay. Mr. Lugay, what is your position on the social programs like the NEP, the non-pension grant, and the Yes We Care?
Social programs are great, but they're not really solutions in itself. You mentioned the grant to seniors of $300. I think that is required and it should be increased. When you really think about it, a person who doesn't have any other source of income, $300 is really not enough, so we have to look to increase it. The NEP workers, by now, when it was conceived, the NEP program, it was something that's supposed to transition people into independence, where they would be working independently and earning their own money and earning much more than $1,000. So clearly the NEP program have not really materialized to its full capacity. And that is one of the things that we will be doing, that we have to transition out of that $1,000 and have people in a skill that will earn them their own money, not just working by the side of the road. What? There was a third part? What's the third part? What's that?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not against social programs. I think we need social programs, but there should be more to it than just handouts. People must transition from the social programs to independence.
Thank you. Mr. Lugay, and the microphone is there? Yeah, to the back.
At the back.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Clinton Benjamin. I'm from Fonkole. My question is basically to the three of you all, right? The government has sold land to the people of Fonkole, Gota, Tarish, Stock Farm for basically $1 per square feet, right? But a lot of these people, they do not have the proper access to their homes so they can actually develop their homes properly, right? This road issue is actually contributing to the garbage issue we're having. And secondly, the owners of those properties, they're actually coming of age, right? A lot of these people has worked 20, 30 years hustling to build their homes. And right now they can barely afford to enjoy it. So to the three of you all, what are your plans for these people, these landowners in these areas, especially my area of Fonkole, we call Pharaoh. Don't you're familiar with the area. You built quite a few houses there. You had to hire guys to carry up cement mixers and all that. What are your guys' plans for these people as they're coming of age and then they have these properties? Thank you.
And please try to limit the question to a minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Clinton, for that question. And we do recognize that access is a key issue in Pharaoh. I mean, we have actually walked ground in Pharaoh City. And we understand that this would have been legislation would have been passed many years ago. However, this may not have been realized. Currently, the government has actually sent 2 engineers to that area to assess what access can be created at this point, and the engineers have reported that it is possible. And so what I can say is that we are currently exploring the next steps of creating access within Pharaoh, but more importantly as well, other areas in Fonkole, as we do recognize that there is untapped potential with regards to land ownership in that area. So this is something that we are committed to funding, realizing. It's not going to be something that I promise in a year. I mean, we have to also be practical, but it's something that we will move into the next phase of assessing the how we can implement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately for Ms. McDougall, you're coming into a 26-year record of a party who's failed Roseau with reference to the same access. We are aware of it. People like Oliver Walt have been clamoring for roads, access roads, and it is creating a serious problem. And some of the problems might not be able to be solved. You know why? Because areas that were set aside for the roads, people have now built there. But we give you the assurance that we will not wait 26 years to fix a problem like that. There are certain things that have to be fixed right away. If you leave it, you will have the problem that you have now.
Thank you. Mr. Boston?
Yes, thank you, brethren. But if you had listened to my presentation, I'd already addressed that part because, as you said, I've worked in these areas, even in Yampis, in Firo, we have to carry mixers. So as long as we want people to be empowered to be able to build their houses, but we have to make the road accessible because it is going to be quite too expensive to build in the places there. And Mr. Lugay, the areas set aside for the road is sent planning in there. We have lands on tap, relocate people and build the road. It have a place for the road to go through. Let us not come and kick up there. There's a place for it. We have to shift people, not a problem, and we have to build the road. People cannot suffer. Madam Mayor is right there. She have a brother that lives in a house on the hill of Pharaoh. And it's a struggle for the gentleman. I built a house for a gentleman. It built and it closed up. He got a stroke. He cannot go up the step to access the house that they close up. So we have to just put the ball down and stop kicks off because you see, that's why I make up my mind to go parliament, because it's too much joking thing. Because the parliament just kicks it off. And if Mr. Lugay in parliament, I hear his hard road in Pharaoh, okay, in Yampis, in Water Village. I walk in this every day. We have ageable people suffering, cylinders to bring, old fridge. When you bring a fridge, your fridge spoil, you have to carry that for miles through it. Right now, what they do in the fade down in the Wavin, when the water comes going down, it blocking, we see a lot of lights in Water Village. The problem is there a while. We have parliaments that have been going down there. I put Mr. Justice Murphy rest his soul. The healing of Roseau of this parliament. Anyway. I brought him and we walk the area. We have already constructed a few roads right next to the stop from bus stop by close to my place there. Mr. Edgar, you know that road. Years ago, the road couldn't be done there. Mr. Timothy had to come and he had to make a sign to get the money. Today, they have accessible road. You can pass there, go down to Tarish Pit. Mr. Timothy always had a plan to make access from Yampis up into Bellevue Road, down into Water Village. We have to stop it to this thing because people have their titles, people have loans for houses here, and we just kicks it off. So that is why I tell you, give me the vote. And let us go there.
All right, Mr. Boston, thank you so much for your answer and to the other candidates.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Question?
Yeah, good night, everybody, and good night to the panelists. My name is Tyrone Nicholas from Mount Daniel, and my question is in two parts. One of the more pressing issues for us in Roseau North, well, I'm not sure for the rest of you, but for me, is the relocation of the landfill. It's been promised by the Prime Minister before, and I'm asking, during your term, how committed are you to seeing that happening within your term, which should be about 5 years? The other part of my question is that beyond the Canefield Cliff and at the end of the borders of the Roseau North constituency, there's no recreational spaces that I can identify. Which one of you can commit yourself to ensuring that within your term, you are able to make that a possibility for us so that our children in Mount Daniel can know each other and not being locked up in a house, not knowing it, basically not building a community.
Thank you. Sir?
And that question is for all three candidates. Yeah. Let me start with Mr. Boston.
I know I get it warm now. You see, because almost everything in Roseau are partaking in it in like limited capacity. Everybody keep asking, what is the plan for the rubbish? Well, let me tell you, and if Mr. Michel was there, he testified that you can go to him, journalists. Around 2019, 2020, there was a plan. The OECS was sponsoring $1.5 million worth of equipment to package the recyclables, to ship it off. There was a chain of command. We worked with Miss Paprika and Pep Badwell. We found the Sea of Creed. Natalie, that have the green place, solid waste. And we had a whole consultation with the OECS meetings. Okay, we are looking to identify a place, and I give it authority here, China West will for not too long. So that plan was in place. OECS was doing it in the equipment, 1.5, and either around the time, listen to me well, the landfill was reaching expiration date. So even the OECS had no longer landfill expired and came up with that plan and the contribution to fix our landfill. Mr. Michel was struggling, he was looking to rent the land of 8 Bank at Kinnfield. I think Mr. Michel saying about the worst of the rubbish. If you have an economic value, no, bring it back to stock farm. We did the groundwork right in the area of the old landfill below by the prison there. Okay? Mr. Michel had a plan drawn up. The facility just cost about $1 million to build, and when Mr. Michel took that to the government, they say they have no money. So stop asking what's the plan for the landfill. They are told in the plan for the landfill. Nobody will have the balls to come and say there's a plan, and it's the government that lamped the plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boston. The second.
I think he was asking about playing space for the kids. Yeah.
Well, in the playing space for Mondaniel, which is a critical issue, also in Fontaine-Wilson. I mean, Fontaine have a small space, but you know, it's a few of us are looking into ways of getting, improve facilities. But what we can think about presently right now, because the land unavailable is community land.
I'm sorry, Mr. Boston, can you just speak closer?
There's also land in Cocoa Bottom. On top land, see how government can purchase some land to make some sort of recreation area for Mondaniel, or even up in the top of Mondaniel, in the top of some nice flat land. I don't know the owners of the land, so I can just see we can use the land, but the government has to find the owners, pay for the land, and make the area available, accessible, so young children of Mondaniel can play, socialize, and they can learn how to be with each other. Okay, so it have availabilities of things to do. Government have to come right now, and we need advocacy for this thing, because I listen to Parliament of Field now, and I never get in the sense that we're advocating for the things we need and not just advocating firm. And right now, with that independent candidate opposition, I'll just be the perfect addition to that. To bring forth the unity, we'll bring 2 more senators and have a serious opposition with a direction for us to see the possibilities of independent candidacy. So Roseau, I can just ask you for that chance, surely.
Thank you, Mr. Boston. Ashma?
Thank you. Sherman, your passion is always exciting. Okay, so going back to your question as related to the landfill, and we recognize obviously that we cannot ignore the facts surrounding the landfill, but the government has already been in conversation with Dominica Solid Waste Management, and we recognize that it is necessary to identify a more long-term strategy as opposed to just moving the landfill to a new area, but looking at decentralization of waste management in Dominica. And we really that this is a better strategy because it really removes the burden on just one location. And we recognize as well that obviously operational costs are higher when the waste has to be moved from further areas in the north, in the south, and decentralization is technically perhaps the most realistic solution relative to the landfill issue currently. So this is another policy, another proposal that you will most likely see as well coming in the revealed in the coming year. As it relates to your second part of your question, community development is definitely at the core. It's a core economic pillar strategy, that I would have hinted to in the presentation. And interestingly, there is current subdivisions happening in that stretch between the area that you're discussing on top of the hill, on top of that ridge. So we are aware of the individual who is subdividing, and it definitely provides an opportunity for us to explore not just recreation, but as well housing potentially, because this area, just like Fontaine-Wilson, presents itself with some beautiful views, and we believe definitely that it can provide an opportunity to ensure that we can commit to housing and providing safety and dignity for individuals within the Roseau constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. Mr. Lugay.
In my presentation, you would have heard that I highlighted the need for the relocation of the landfill. I think it's about 10 or more years past its useful life. We cannot be dilly-dallying and still thinking of where we putting it. A government 26 years in office should have taken care of that problem. We will find a location if it's somewhere along the West Coast, but we'll have our technicians tell us, and when they tell us, we must do it. It can't be a recurring problem for 26 years. On the question of playing area for Mount Daniel, fortunately I met with a group of persons in Mount Daniel, and they mentioned that. So you are in sync with the rest of the people of Mount Daniel. And we cannot have a top-down way of doing things. I think the constituents can best tell us where that playing field, where that resource center, where that place for elderly people to come recreate in Mount Daniel. You must tell us, and we will get that from the people, and we'll execute that plan.
Thank you, candidates, for answering the question. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My question is my name is Firelander. While I'm not a voter within the constituency, I'm an employee within the constituency. I work right here at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. And I'm very interested in the moving forward of the constituency as it directly affects the work that I do. I would like to ask a question to Mr. Lugay, and this question is the fact that, and I think I listened to your presentation, both your presentation as well as the questions you would have answered, and I've heard you use the word failure almost 20 times in relation to the government, and you've sat in opposition twice. And my question, and served as a parliamentary representative of this constituency on 2 occasions. In fact, it is rumored, and not even rumored, but very much so, publicly stated that your party, the United Workers' Party, was seeking alternative representation within this constituency. My question to you, sir, is if you were not the first choice of your political party, why should the people of Roseau North select you as the next parliamentary representative of the constituency? The second part to that question is directed at Ms. McDougall. In fact, you would have been sought after not only by the Dominica Labour Party and the United Workers' Party, you'd have been sought after by multiple parties, I think even the UWP. And that means, I would say, they say what they say about good gold. Yeah. But what does that say about you as a potential parliamentary representative? Thank you.
Again, please try to keep your questions within the 1 minute space there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your question. And so you heard that I was hanging up my gloves. And yes, I was. I was really in the process. I was doing an unofficial poll to get my replacement. But when I heard snap election / by-election, I say, oh, no. It's not 2022. I will secure that seat. And I know I'm the best person to secure that seat. Eventually, I will transition out of politics because I do not think Roseau North is Clement Lugay's estate. So I'm looking for bright prospects to hand the baton to, right? Because I've fought hard and I've suffered much for it. I've been kidnapped by Roosevelt's carried bodyguard, thrown in the jail, slept 3 nights and 3 days in the jail, taken to the courts. I sued the police and I won my case, and I will be suing again. But yes, I'm planning to transition out. But for now, Roseau North is not for sale.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to have 2 more questions. 2 more questions because of the time.
Was your question second part to Ashma?
This gentleman there, I think Dr.
There's a second part to his question.
Oh, the second
Ashma
part?
has to respond to it, yes.
Sorry. What's the second part of the question?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, thank you. Basically, you would have been sought after by multiple political parties. My question to you is, what does that say about you as a potential parliamentary representative for the constituency, seeing that you've been looked at by multiple political parties, including the UWP that saw you as a very, very good candidate?
Quite frankly, I mean, it's flattering, but at the same time, for me, I'm just focused on delivering results to people. And I think that is reflected in my own values and the work that I have done through my record speaks for itself. And I'll leave it at that. I mean, I heard Danny say that he's ready to leave, and he almost wasn't the representative. I would have been. Well, I mean, if I was so highly sought after, but no, in all honesty, I think, as I've said before, now is a very critical juncture for Dominica's development. And we always talk about young people being the future. And quite frankly, the policies that are being proposed today will be affecting the future in 10 and 20 and 30 years' time. So while you're ready to hang up your gloves, the fact remains that your contributions to Parliament will be affecting us. And that is why it's necessary to ensure that there are younger individuals, as well youth, participating at the table to contribute to those policy prescriptions that are being proposed to affect them in 10 and 20 and 30 years down the line. So, I mean, I really want to focus on the fact that we need to ensure that youth are more involved in decision making, and it's not just tokenist, it's actually meaningful participation at all levels. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall.
Yes, I think we're going to take our final question, and then we'll get the final comments from the candidates, because we're looking for time at this point. Thank you, Doctor.
So I'm Dr. Hazel Schilling Frederickitz, and I live in Mount Daniel for over 23 years. So a number of the problems here I have encountered over those years. But my question tonight is to all of you. You are presenting yourselves to be voted into Parliament to represent Roseau North. And my question is, when voted to Parliament, will you consider as priority the reinstatement of the Ravencock Road? Bear in mind, there is only one road in and out of Roseau. If it is blocked by a major rockfall, as in an earthquake, there will be major disruption. So would you put that on the top burner of your priority when you get into Parliament? Thank you.
Thank you. And the question is to
every candidate.
All three.
Matt, it's great to have a manifesto, and a manifesto I could share with my colleague about 2 weeks ago. On my manifesto, it says, construct the Ravencock Link Road as a strategic bypass of the Mount Daniel Cliff, linking communities like Belvirol, Mount Daniel Parish. So not just the Ravencock Road. There's a road at the back of, what's the funeral place? Linus. That road has to be given priority also. There are several roads that can link the various communities, including Fokole, Upper Fokole, and Mount Daniel, and even Glasgow, and a little further in, So we have to open up areas. And when you do that, you're even opening up areas for more housing opportunity. So I have it on my plan. And not only that, if I pull up my plan for my previous election, you will see that the Ravencock Road is there. And Prime Minister's Carrot have been promising it election after election and never delivered.
I hope that plan was when you were power rep, Honorable. Mr. Lugay. But we do recognize that it is a key concern. And as presented in my own presentation, infrastructure remains a key economic strategy that we recognize is important and critical, not just for access, but as well to create development pathways for individuals within those communities. So we have already assessed some major areas that we recognize we would need to come in and do some infrastructural projects. But I'm not going to say on this mic tonight that this is going to be something that will be realized in a year, because we do recognize it is something that obviously requires resources. So I'm not trying to be impractical. I'm trying to be very practical. We recognize it's a priority, right? But we recognize as well there are many infrastructural projects that we have to focus on in the constituency. And so definitely it will be something that the government will tackle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. Mr. Boston?
Yes, good night again. Well, as you had listened to my presentation, roads was part of it. I'm sorry, Miss, for not including that road because that is a major one. But I would say I would advocate for the building of those roads, but I would also advocate for it to build by people from Roseau North. Equipment from Roseau North. We have the capability, we have the skill set, and we have to build these roads. Also the roads in Fontaine-Wilson to access in Pharaoh, in Gotter Village, in Yampis, to ease up the burden on the grown-up people. So sorry for sounding like redundant, but that is one of my priorities in Roseau North. And if any of you come and walk the streets, you'll understand why. Because people are suffering.
Thank you, Mr. Boston.
Just to inform the moderators, folks, we actually started after 9 because some of our folks walked in a bit late. So we are going to extend our stoppage time to another 15 minutes, okay? And the next question by the hand.
Yes. Good evening to all the people in here. My name is Oliver Walsh. I am from Roseau North. My question is to all the men and the woman on the panelists. Ashma, I think my question will be directed to you since you have been through an experience that I had personally. This auditorium that we are in tonight, it's good that we could be here tonight in Roseau North to discuss the first time in Dominica politics that we have such an audience and a discussion about development. I'm proud. The people, 1 minute, the people on the front, I'm very excited about you all, right? But my question is, it is an experience I had medically, and it was something that over the years, it's about 20-something years, 1998, 99, somewhere about, that we had been promised a medical health insurance. And sometime later, it's about 7 years now, my wife got into an emergency and needed to get out of Dominica. So that was at home. And because we did not have that level of representation, which is the medical health insurance for everybody, we had to finance that movement. And even when we get to there, it was too late. The situation with me, I had a situation with a heart problem, and I had to go to Guadeloupe. And when I go to Guadeloupe, I was out there, and your father, Ashma, was also in Guadeloupe with a medical health problem. And our situation there, due to costs, was very, very hard. But because of my family, I had my children out there, I was able to get an IMA assistant that was able to meet me with my medical health, which is something when I sit with your father and discuss our problem in Dominica, we spoke about that IMA.
Question, please.
Question.
Yes, please.
Time. Okay. My question is it
a better move that we build this mass hospital in Roseau North than we had put in a medical health insurance in the hospital we had or the system we had to take care of general expense for our people in Dominica on a whole, not just Roseau North. Thank you.
And please stick to the time. We're out of time.
I think it's important to note that I do recognize the importance of ensuring that we have access to healthcare in Dominica. And you're asking whether one should have come before the other, or whether they should have both come simultaneously. In my own opinion, I don't think that there should have been a priority of one over the other, in my own opinion. However, we do have to recognize that with the resources that we have available, perhaps both may not have been able to come at the same time. And so I think it's important to note that access to healthcare is just as important as being able to afford it. However, we cannot afford what we don't have. And so in the absence of having in the absence of having a hospital, people would have had medical health insurance, but at what facility would they have been able to access the healthcare? So I do not disagree with the government's stance to ensure that this infrastructure, this capital project was invested into, because it has provided access to healthcare for many individuals. I do agree that obviously there is improvement within the healthcare system in Dominica. I mean, Mr. Lugay himself was just praising the eye care clinic recently on social media about the care that he received. And so without that, but having the health insurance, he would not have been able to access that healthcare here. So I do not think that one should have been prioritized over the other. But I do agree with you that, yes, improvement is necessary, and this is something that obviously the government will be looking at in the coming year.
Thank you. Ms. McDougall, the question. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So, healthcare, we recognize that healthcare is a serious issue. Both Dominicans at home and abroad are very concerned about healthcare, health services, medical insurance. We know it's an expensive thing, but if we sell it well to the working population and show the importance of it, that you put aside a certain amount of your salary towards healthcare and probably Social Security could chip in a little bit. I think we can do it. There must be a way for us to do it. Saying that we cannot do it doesn't solve our problem. Going on the radio program to raise funds, it doesn't always work. People die before that. So I'm saying that it's something we must do. Our political leader, Thompson Fontaine, has proposed that we'll have national health care, and it's something that will get our best brains together. We know we have a small population, but we can do it if we put our minds to it, and we must do it.
Well, I can comment the upgrade of the hospital, although we lack it, it's an essential aspect. You have to give Jackie needed. So we have the facility there right now, we get to upgrade. But with the insurance, you have to be paying into that insurance monthly. Same thing, we have to move it out of that socialist mentality. No, how are we going to sustain that insurance? We need it, but we need to get people to work so they can participate. So first and foremost, we need to get our population, our middle class, working, and they can participate in the insurance, and then the government can come and add to it, and then we can go to the private sector and create something worthwhile. So it have the plan, we have the plan in our mind, but first and foremost, we need to develop our middle class, because that is where everything lies, and we can start no plan, first and foremost, developing the middle class. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boston. And we continue with the questions until 9:15, I was told by the organizers. Next question.
All right, good night, everybody. Good night. My name is Philip Williams. My DNA is in Goodwill right here. I have to make a comment and then a question. Mr. Lugay, I like your idea about the invented cafe, but it's in the wrong place. That there is for the expansion of the port. The place your idea can go is where you see they have the old ice factory, the textile building, the grapefruit factory, and the Wasco people get rid of all of that and put a major bus terminal there for all the buses from the north of the country. Okay, that's what we need. And you can put your vendors cafe along the side of it. So you have all those clients coming in, so business will be good for those people. Okay, that's that. The second thing is the traffic issue. You cannot put a cruise ship terminal there. Cruise ship terminal should go Canefield by the airport. You see, when school opens, you cannot pass. Traffic back up to Belfast, coming to work in the morning. The buses are getting bigger. The cruise ships are getting bigger. More passengers. You're asking for a problem. Okay? So that cannot happen. You have to think of it. What's going to happen down the road? Okay? Another opinion I have is the reason why there's no jobs, or they say there's jobs and there are people, the economy shuts down at 5 o'clock. You cannot get people to work from 5 o'clock because they can't get a bus to go home. Not even Goodwill, you can get a bus to go home. The bus system needs to be put in place so people can get a ride. If you work KFC has to provide their own transportation. If you have a restaurant in town, you have to provide your own transportation. It's very costly. So we need to do something about that. But my question is, Goodwill, from the roundabout go up, is a residential area. We don't get no service from the city council because they don't have money. And we pay all the taxes. I want to know what you can do to help us with that. And also all the skyscrapers they have going up in Goodwill there. Before it wasn't like that. I don't have planning change the law, but it's a residential area. I want to know what you're going to do to stop that nonsense. Thank you very much.
Your question is to whom, Mr. Sir?
All of them.
Okay.
Now the engineers at the back, the lighting affects the participants at the front. The flickering affects them, okay? So if you have to do it, just do it once, please.
Okay, so we're going to start with you, Mr. Lugay? Okay.
I accept your criticism and ideas in terms of the plans I have and probably could be shifted a little lower down. We will have our professionals advise us properly, and you will be part of that decision making. That's how it works. Okay, so we bring all our brains together, but it can be done. Even in the case of the area where I talk about 8 cruise ships, you could do flyovers so the people don't have to be walking along the main road. So there are several ideas. When I spoke about the tourist reception center, next to the tourist reception center would be a bus terminal. So from the bus terminal, the tourists would go on their tours and come back to the place. So there's ways and means, but I'm agreeing with you that we can tweak the idea to make it better and stronger.
Thank you, Mr. Lugay. Ms. McDougall.
Well, the second part of your question, can you just repeat it? I think we both missed it as we were distracted by the flickering lights.
On the city council, we don't have money. I said, we can get this all the time in Fontaine-Wilson and we are neglected, or roads are neglected, and we're doing skyscrapers in the road. So, I know the planning act, we don't go 2 stories. Now we have time to do 5 stories, 6 stories buildings.
Okay, so what's the question, really, sir? Just to be clear. Oh.
I think you're raising a very important point. What else has happened to our institutions like planning and so on? Have they lost it? I mean, if you are right. Above the hospital area was reserved for residential areas, and you've seen some really huge, tall buildings going up. We have to start respecting our laws and our rules, and I agree with you, but 26 years is a long time, And I don't think it's going to turn around on this government. Only a new government that respects law will ensure that this happens.
Thank you. Mr. Boston?
Yes, well, I don't do some redundant, and as a city member of City Council, I appreciate what you say, but the City Council is financed by the residents. So I go to some redundant again. We need to rebuild our middle class so they can participate, so City Council can fulfill their duties. I mean, I don't think it's much more difficult than that, but we cannot ask, as I tell the mayor already, people to pay because we know the situation. And we cannot keep on depending on government to do everything. City Council by law have mandate, but we need the financing. General public, we cannot ask all the general public to pay when the people are not clearly not working and they don't have the funds to contribute to their own development. So I'll go back to the same thing again. We need to get our people up and working, gainful employment, so they can participate in their life. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so I want to focus on something that he actually just said. In this particular area, we do recognize that there is a gap that exists. We are actually meeting with the residents from the NO4 polling district this weekend to ensure that we can discuss some of these challenges that you have identified and together discuss some solutions in regards to addressing them outside of just the Roseau City Council, but other areas that we could actually provide initiatives to address that. As it relates to the legality surrounding the skyscrapers that you were hinting to, I mean, obviously, we do recognize as well that has been a concern that has come from some of the residents even on Rose Street, and it's something I will definitely take back to Parliament for greater discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. I think all three candidates have answered that question. And just a reminder, in interest of time, please keep your questions to a minute. Yes, we know, but the organizers are allowing one more?
Two more questions.
Two more questions.
Yes, two more questions, please.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
My name is... Gregor Nassif. I'm a stutterer, and I stutter on my name. So
we understand.
I'll try to get to the question. Many of the challenges, landfill, bypass, roads, port, are significant projects from a financial perspective. They require a healthy treasury, a sustainable economy, and a leader who supports the projects. And the reality of our parliamentary democracy is that a vote for you is a vote for your party, is a vote for your leader. Yes? So the question to Mr. Lugay is, we're voting for you, we're voting for Mr. Fontaine. Why should we trust him to lead? And also to Ashma, we're voting for you, we're voting for Mr. Scarrett. Why should we put him back in office after 22 years and trust him again for a fourth term? And to my friend Sherman, who would you rather work with?
Whoa. Okay, Jim, so you asked the question, why should we vote for Thomson Fontaine? Thomson Fontaine comes with fresh ideas, the 10-pillar plan, and you heard of my plan, which will fit into the 10-pillar plan. And just by virtue of having one leader for 26 years, I'd vote Ashma as a new leader, or Vince as a new leader of the Labour Party. But in the case of the United Workers' Party and Dominicans generally, we need some fresh thinking, fresh ideas, someone new, someone who has done it in other countries. And that's why he gets my vote of confidence.
Thank you, Mr. Lugay. Ms. McDougall?
I think the real question is whether or not the country has moved in the last 22 years. And when we look at the capital projects that have been realized and that we are currently working on as a government, the marina, the international airport, the cable car project, the hospital, we're currently sitting at the hospital. I mean, one has to credit that there has been a lot of development, especially in the face of the exogenous shocks that we have faced. We have to understand that this hasn't been a linear path for Dominica. We have been affected by hurricanes, which have become more severe. We have been affected by the pandemic. And so while I do understand, obviously we're not where we want to be, but at the same time, we are much further than where we were. And so this is why I obviously place my confidence in the leader of the party. And this is why I believe that he should be given another opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall. Mr. Boston?
Mr. Nassif, in my ideal government structure going forward, if Mr. Fontaine can win his seat, Mr. Secretary can win his seat, but we go up independent against hijack of our parliament. We need to go to parliament where decisions are made through public interaction. When you send a party into the parliament with hijack, we don't have a debate. They have explanations. And we need to educate the public that we don't need a political party to form a government. And that is important in the education system. We do not require a political party. The Constitution holds for debates. In our lifetime, have we ever seen a debate in Parliament? Right now, we're going to get budgetary representation, budgetary explanation. Because what the debate? Just to talk and think and waste time. It's coming, that is it. We already have the thing, $1.3 billion. It leak out everybody know. $1.3 billion for the budget. And it's going to have no contention because we do have a debate structure in our parliament. We consent to hijack the parliament because our political preference, and we just indoctrinate into that. And that is where the evil begins in Dominica. Too much power, absolute power, corrupt absolutely. We have 26 years of that. We need to break it. And if we have to go together, Mr. Scary, Mr. Fontaine, Sherman Boston, Mr. Candidates, come together and form a government of national unity. But presently, we're in a by-election, and I'll go to reinforce our opposition, independent opposition. And that is why I'm strong and independent, because no other, Labour Party had enough already. I don't know what they want to get. And Mr. Lugay and Mr. Thompson, with all due respect, we had two candidates independently in our parliament, opposition, and the Labour's party within themselves got them apart. And that was very sad, like what we're supposed to do in the last 4 years. Just erase it. So I go in India now to strengthen Jesma Paul, Anthony Charles, Delbert Price, and the rest of them, and then when general election come, we'll see to that. Good night.
Last question.
Thank you, candidates. We've just gotten an indication by the organizer that we have the last question.
A question from a young lady at the back. Our final question.
Okay, good night. My name is Naisha Dublin, and my question is for mainly everyone, for representatives. So I reside in Stock Farm. So I live in Stock Farm for 24 years. I'm 24 years old, and since I born, basically, I know the Labour Party has been in power. Therefore, I will say for sure there has been a lot of empty promises. And for example, now I noticed that they started a project in the first netball stadium in the community. But my question is, what is the plan? Okay, you all started the project, but what is the conclusion you are going to come to? Are you going to give back to the youth? Because a lot of young boys in my community are stray, in my opinion. And basically, we have nothing doing. We don't have no place to basically have fundraising or anything to basically build the community. So my question is for all three candidates, basically. What are your plans for the netball stadium?
Thank you. Microphones to the candidates, Mr. Peltier. So Mr. Danny Lugay will start off.
You know, as a sportsman myself, who in 1978 played youth football for Dominica, in 1980 played for the senior national team, and all between that have been the chairman of the Linda Park Improvement Committee. It saddens me to see the state of playing fields in Roseau. I know what sports did for me. It gave me the discipline that every meeting I go to that I'm on time. It gives me the discipline that when I make appointments with people that I must be there before them. And it's so sad to see the situation in Dominica. Young people are going astray. Even the Windsor Park Stadium, where there were so many disciplines, there netball, football, athletics, just name it. It wasn't as fancy as it is now. You have a facility now, and it's for Roman Siwo. How much national football you see playing there? I remember before I started playing football, it was my honor to hold the boots of the senior person to go in the Windsor Park, free of charge, just to see football. Today, young people don't even care about sports. There isn't that emphasis to bring back sports today. We actually have to invest money into clubs, you know. Even clubs that's died in Roseau North, Zebians, Heineken Sense, my own club, because young people, their focus, you know, and I don't want to blame them too much. There's a gap in between seniors like me. I did it for so many years, played and then coached and then managed and took care of the facility. But it will take much more effort than what exists now to bring back sports, to bring back discipline, to bring back playing fields. But it must be done if we should have a successful society in Roseau North.
Thank you, Mr. Lugay. Ms. McDougall.
Thank you for your question, and definitely we have already started work within the stock farm area, not just the stock farm area, but in other communities within the constituency as it relates to restoring community areas. Now, I'm not going to say that the plan is to restore the netball complex right now. I think it has to be a decision that is taken by the entire community as it relates to what would be most suitable for that space. I can attest, however, that we are currently restoring the stock farm playground. We are currently in conversation with the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, and as well Mr. Wayne and Troy Shillingford within the stock farm area with regards to the restoration of the stock farm football field, right? So all of these are already plans that are in action. Now, as it relates to the community center, and this is one that is very keen for me because, you know, while we were having our own community meeting a few weeks ago, I mean, we needed to identify a space that we could actually host that meeting. And, you know, it isn't like the space may not necessarily be available at the moment in stock farm. So this is something that obviously we recognize is a concern, having community spaces. So what we will do is to ensure that we can identify the space within stock farm that is currently being used, and have discussions with local government as it relates to, you know, what way we can move forward in regards to ensuring that the community center is either rebuilt in a different space or there are conversations with regards to ensure that we can revisit the current location of the Stock Farm Community Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall.
I thought we were attacking each other, but I guess it's okay if you don't technically.
Okay, Mr. Boston, are you going to answer the question?
I will lose track of the question. the question was about the netball stadium. Sorry about
That's right. Yes.
that.
You all shouldn't be addressing each other, you know that based on the rules. You all should not be addressing each other based on the rules.
All right, but I will technically.
All right.
Okay, anyway, based on the netball stadium, as I said before, I booked on the netball stadium. It's a shame how we make that area deteriorate to what it is right now. I mean, right now we see political campaigns coming now and it's cleaning up. I myself was active in archaeology area need to clean up, and then I happy to see it cleaned up. As representative of city council, the space, through there isn't any space for the locals to play. There was a real plan in place to rehabilitate that area there so we can play with little feds, use it for parking to raise funds for the committee or the community, with little football, indoor football. So there was that plan in place. Okay, I mean, we jump the gun, people have money in front of us, so they jump the gun, they're doing it, but not a problem, they're doing it for us, because we have seen about 3 or 4 recycled plans of that area, indoor swimming pool, indoor facility, covering, every election cycle, so that's nothing new. Okay, I mean, we fell upon that recycle kind of a promises, we fell upon it. Now, to address the community center, plans of the community center, long time, the area it was in Simon Bolivar, that was a stock farm community center. Was Simon Bolivar. Learn and listen. The community of the day asked the government of the day that the area was too small. So they actually transferred the land for the community center down to the area where they have the playing park. I mean, it's recorded history, I mean, we can talk what we're talking about. And the area we're talking about that existing have been left abandoned. It was a place for high for thieves and different criminal activities. It was a menace to the community. I myself live in the community. And the community actually accept the upgrade of that area. Some of us, we're not old enough to know about that, or we wasn't in politics at that time to be so in our suggestion. But the community center land was actually rediverted, the reacquired land lower down in the place where they have the playground. They didn't build a community center there, but that is the area was allocated for the new community center of Simon Bolivar. Today, we're looking to have a community of stock farm. Stock farm, right? Right what you're talking about, you know, because the young lady she lives in stock farm. Because that was the Simon Bolivar. Right? So we're looking to have an area in that there was a promise by the same Labour Party a few years ago to house a community center in one of the promises in the rehabilitation of the netball stadium. There was a hall for a community center of stock farm. And if you want to check your stats, it's right there. So go forward with it and look for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boston. I think we have come to the end of the questions and come to the end of this event. Thank you to our candidates for
final comments.
Yes, so we have the final comments from Mr. Darrell.
And
we will have our final comments from you guys, but Mr. Darrell will address.
Well, I was about to do the vote of thanks, but if you have final comment.
We did plan on allowing them the final comment. So what number do you have?
There was a thing.
That's right. So who has number 1 to end? Mr.
Please.
Boston.
And 3 minutes, please. Yes. Please, we're watching that clock very closely.
So thank you, Mr. Boston, as he approaches the podium for his last.
Thank you. Testing. All right. Mic check. All right, so thank you to the Dominica Business Forum for this event. I mean, to me it was attended. I mean, we had the intention of having more people there, but I guess with the people looking at it live, I mean, in Calibishi, Ilmi up there looking at it, and in the rest of Dominicans, it was a very impressive event. I appreciate it. I appreciate the conduct, although in the end we can't fully consider, but it always happens. That's nothing. But I thank you. I mean, as I say, I could speak about so much things. I myself, I participate in a lot of things in Roseau, different communities. But what we need to do is looking to empower our citizens, not just in Roseau, but we can start with Roseau now, Roseau on display, to empower our citizens. We need to advocate for our citizens to be educated properly so they can participate. All you're talking about the government can intervene now and do all they want to do, it's still going to crash. Without a thriving middle class, is down the drain. Society will collapse. So good night to everybody. Good night to listen around the world, DBS Radio, Igbo News. Mr. Matt, thank you. Kaywana, always lovely. Everybody, give thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Boston, for your presentation. We now welcome Ashma McDougall for her closing remarks.
Good evening, and again, I want to commend the Dominica Business Forum for this initiative. I remember when I myself would have initiated it many years ago at the Dominica State College, so I do recognize the importance of having such public discourse, and I really commend as well the other candidates on their presentations this evening, and thank you again to the audience for the questions that you would have pitched. I think with my presentation this evening, the major point that I would really like to emphasize is that every great constituency is built on more than just roads and buildings and health centers and infrastructure. It is built on people. And the approach that I've taken to listen to people over the last weeks has been quite enthusiastic, quite enlightening, because I believe that in ensuring that we can develop this community-led approach to the challenges that we are facing in the constituency, people have to be at the center. Solutions cannot be developed within the input of the very people that they affect. And so my hope and my intent is to continue working with the people. And so tonight, I ask for your confidence in the presentation and the plans that I have presented this evening. And over the rest of the few weeks left in this campaign, I will endeavor to meet with more residents across more communities to understand any additional challenges that they believe should be at the forefront of the development nexus for the Roseau North constituency. I also want to encourage those of you who have not confirmed to go and get confirmed. Regardless of the coin that you sit on, it's important to ensure that you exercise your democratic rights. And in addition to that, through the walks in this constituency, regardless of whatever slurs have been suggested, there are many people who still remain unregistered. I am meeting 60-year-olds who have never voted, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 32-year-olds. So this is my plea to persons who are not registered to go and get registered to vote as well. Because the fact remains, all of our voices will matter. And so it's important to ensure that you get registered, you get confirmed, and importantly, I ask for your vote of confidence in the upcoming by-election. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. McDougall, for your closing remarks. You're welcome, Mr. Danny Lugay.
Let me thank each and every one of you for showing up. To those who asked the tough questions, I want to thank you. I took note of them, and I will be looking at them closely to ensure that when I get to Parliament, I will be expressing your feelings, your aspirations, to make sure that we hold the government fit to the fire. But I am laser beam focused on solving the 40% unemployment in Roseau North. And that is why I presented in my plan a tourist hub where it will create jobs, where people into braiding hair, restaurant, music industry, they can find themselves a place to earn $1 from the tourism dollar. I am laser beam focused on the taxes that suffocating small to large businesses. We have 55 cents on every dollar is paid in taxes and 45 left to business places. My mind is focused on healthcare. When folks are scared to come to the China French hospital, you know one thing about me, when it's good, I got great service from the eye clinic. I went on public radio and complimented. But when there are areas that needs to be pulled up, don't tell me, don't say it. Everybody know the reality. People scared to come to the hospital. When we are isolating and disenfranchising local indigenous doctors, we're sending them home when they still have a lot of energy. That's not good. Dominica for Dominicans first. Now we spoke about all the major projects in Dominica. If $1 billion international airport is being built in Dominica, We should have millionaires being made, truckers, people selling food. We should have people making serious bucks, but in the economy, not in businesses selling products, really seeing the effect of those so-called major projects. We can do better than that. And I offer you the beginning of that blue tsunami. Vote for Danny. More votes for Danny?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you would agree that tonight, a well-respected discussion. I think that will be continued. Let's give a round of applause for all the candidates.
And also a round of applause for yourselves. Yes, thank you so much for being respectful and civilized. Yes, as the organizers.
Let's hold those thanks
as the organizers
Bob.
wished. Mr. Dara Bob, your closing remarks. Thank you.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for coming out mostly. And I want to thank my very, very small team at the Dominica Business Forum, Inc. for the support. I want to single out Severin. And I want to say to the candidates, could you put the lights back on? Can you put the lights back on? Yes, I want to say to the candidates, we appreciate you. We adore your bravery. And we want you to continue like this, have that kind of thing in you to face your constituents. We have not seen that in Dominica in a very long time. You know the importance there. And to you, the constituents, it's important that you make the demands. You make the demands. We'll make ourselves available. My job here is so simple, just to say thank you to you and the candidates. And of course, our moderators, I would like you to give them a very strong round of applause. And give the candidates again a very strong round of applause. And you may ask yourself, how come I'm not saying special thanks to members of the mercantile community? We had no sponsors, absolutely none at all. So this is something I just want to say, I want to put that on your minds, that in future, I know there are thousands of people listening to us right now. I've been responding to messages on my phone all the way from Houston and Miami. Dominicans are tuned in very strongly. So this has a lot of reach. And we have our intentions. Support us, the Dominica Business Forum, Inc. Thank you guys once again. Thank you for coming and get home safely.
Yes. And of course, Daryl, we'd like to say thank you to DBS Radio.
Yes, Radio. Of course. DBS Radio, thank you for Kyrie. And Kyrie FM, who is feeding from DBS.
That's right, to the media.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much to the media. God bless.